In regards to the spirit and the structure of motivational interviewing, I think one of the unique things that it brings forward is that it provides a way for the therapist to regulate their own affect. In other words, it gives a structure for the therapist to contain their intense thoughts and feelings they might have towards the client or their predicament, and then also to refrain from jumping in and trying to solve it for them in a way in which might not be as helpful as they might think for the client, because one of the things that we do know is that when people can find the solutions to their own problems, they're probably far more likely to take some ownership and take responsibility for implementing those solutions.
And how I see that tangata whaiora who's sitting in front of me and wanting to promote the value of, I accept you as you are, you have your own answers, I'm here to walk alongside you, not to tell you what to do, but there might be times when I might suggest something in a way that's going to still promote your autonomy. I'm not going to tell you what to do, and I'm going to do it with the belief that you have your own answers. I'm going to do it with the belief that you're a person who's on a journey of change, and gentle hands always work better than the rod.
When I know I'm doing motivational interviewing well, I'm looking at a person with a sense of awe. And I have yet to meet anyone that if I really sit and will allow myself to join them in their world and kind of be there with them, that I haven't walked away with something that I appreciate for myself, that I get out of, that I'm inspired by. And to me, when I'm feeling that way, I know we're on track.
Probably the anecdotal feedback that gives us the most sort of impetus to keep going is that people would say things like, we had a speech pathologist who was running a voice clinic for people with voice projection issues, and she said, I've stopped telling people to stop yelling and it's working. Those sorts of things. Podiatrists who were saying, I've stopped telling people what shoes to buy and started asking them what sorts of activities that is important for them to engage in. We were getting feedback that people were starting to change their practice. People were saying, I now know what to do when someone doesn't do what I tell them to.
Empathy is very important. That my ability to relate to you and understand where you're coming from is an essential part of motivational interviewing and of me trying to help you. To me, if I'm empathic with you, then you're going to have that sense that you're understood, which is a very important first step towards change. I think even more important than empathy is acceptance. And it's not just knowing who you are and understanding where you're coming from, but appreciating it and being excited by it. And if I can share that with you, it can help you step away from these feelings of being demoralized, being frustrated, being confused, and can help you make a better self and a better life for yourself.
Evocation, I've always understood that to be the belief that they have their own answers. So this person comes here, they've walked their journey, they already have their own answers. Maybe they don't necessarily see them at the time, and maybe my role is to, as one of the definitions I heard of motivational being, help a person talk themselves into change. That I'm there to pull out, to listen with the ear that I've had, the trained ear that I've had, to the gold that they give kōrero to that maybe they don't necessarily see. And if I offer a mirror, showing them maybe what some of that gold is, that may shift their motivation from maybe not considering change at all, to maybe they have been considering change, to maybe actually they're even made a decision. But generally, those who haven't made a decision to change, or those that are sort of thinking about change, giving them those nuggets back maybe helps them to make that decision.
Telling people what to do in healthcare just doesn't work. So if somebody needs to better manage their diabetes, telling them what to do usually doesn't work, and most people come with that ambivalence, and healthcare professionals get really irritated with having to keep providing the same advice and not getting very far.
I think that one of the problems in the helping professions kind of generally or broadly is that we kind of look down on people. I was trained in clinical psychology, so I was trained for years to go in, assess, diagnose, figure out what's wrong, and then fix it. Or if I couldn't fix it, tell the person how to fix it themselves. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that in a way, because it still is helping people by removing things that are problems for them. But to me, it misses this whole bigger picture, which is that if you're struggling, you may not have very good ideas about what to do to make that better. I, as an expert clinician, come in and have some better ideas maybe than you do at the moment, but I will never have as good of ideas about your life as you will if instead I'll put my energy towards inspiring you and helping you think more broadly, get more relaxed, and determine what it is you want to do with your life.
The idea that that change and the decisions about change reside with the client is just so useful for me. So I kind of constantly finding myself going back to sort of checking my writing reflex, making sure that that doesn't get too involved and doesn't sort of muddy the waters, and making sure that we're sort of going back and we're sort of evoking from the client.
Compassion is one of the newest aspects to the spirit of motivational interviewing. And it seems that what Miller and Rolnick are trying to get to is trying to describe what's at the heart of the therapeutic relationship. And as close as I think we can get to is actual compassion, wherein as the helper, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to listen, I'm trying to be empathic, and I'm trying to help somebody get to where they want to be in their life based on what's realistic, achievable, and important to them. And I'm not worrying too much about having to be the expert or having to offer up the best interpretation or coming up